Greetings, everyone. As of late, I've been looking to add some variety to my projects, and today I have something a little special for you. I would like to present the very first guest speaker on my channel, Kim. Hello and welcome.
Hey there. Decided to stop being over the top for once and talk about something serious. Yay, serious topic. And one of the topics I've been meaning to talk about is Celestia, Nightmare Moon, and how Luna was stuck on the moon for such a long time. I figured DRWolf here is a perfect companion for such a discussion.
I'm very glad to have you with us here today. A while back, you had sent me a topic suggestion about the punishments of villains in MLP.
Yes, and I wanted to talk about everyone's favorite princess of the night, Luna. If you've been living under a rock, then have some backstory. So, in the pilot, Celestia sends Luna to the moon for 1,000 years. But is that fair? Did Luna really deserve that for all her actions as Nightmare Moon? Does 1,000 years seem just, even if it's established that Luna and Celestia have survived for a much greater span of time?
Well, I suppose we really don't know what kind of havoc Nightmare Moon had caused back in the ancient past. We are only given the intro story during that first couple of minutes in the first episode, and not much beyond that. We do know that Nightmare Moon wanted to create everlasting night, and if that had gone on for too long, then it would have caused worldwide devastation.
But with villains like King Sombra and Discord, who seem to have committed much bigger crimes, in this mindset, is this sentence fair for good old Luna, considering that Luna and Celestia were sisters?
Well, with King Sombra, we know that he had been enslaving the ponies of the Crystal Empire, and with Discord, we know that he had been tormenting the three pony races endlessly until the royal sisters stopped them. So, their crimes do indeed seem more grievous than what we know about Nightmare Moon. Although, I get the sense that perhaps, just perhaps, Celestia was unable to use the elements of harmony to their fullest, and thus could not free her sister from her corrupted form, and so had only one other alternative when using the elements. I mean, why else would Celestia not free her sister way back then?
But for such a long length, couldn't Celestia attempt something similar to her plan with Twilight, in which she tries to entrust the elements to a group that deserves them and freed Luna earlier?
That would be an interesting possibility. Did Celestia really have to wait all that time in order to find new bearers for the elements? But then again, I'm not entirely sure that Celestia was the one who set the time frame. After all, it was the stars that eventually aided in Nightmare Moon's escape. I don't know whether it was even possible for Celestia to bring her sister back from the moon herself. But if Celestia did have the power to bring her sister back from the moon, I suppose that would bring up a great many questions.
These are all possibilities, but I'm afraid the pilot didn't really give us too much to go on. Could Celestia have gone to the moon and reasoned with her sister earlier? Did the imprisonment have a predetermined limit? Did Luna's form as Nightmare Moon need 1,000 years to be weakened?
We know that Princess Luna had been feeling neglected by those under her rule. This had been explained during the first 2 minutes of the intro episode. And given the seemingly immortal lifespans of the royal sisters, Luna could have been feeling this way for years, decades, or even centuries. How long did it take before Celestia noticed her sister's torment before she decided to speak with her about it? We know that Celestia had tried to reason with Luna before she became Nightmare Moon, but how much of an effort that she had made, and even for how long, is still open to interpretation.
That's a great point. Was Celestia aware of Luna's state until it was obvious? Did she try to help Luna before then? All these are great branches that the writers could choose to touch on in the future. If they ever would. Please, guys?
Was there any alternative for Celestia here? Did she have any other options besides banishing her sister? I have to believe that if Celestia could have used the elements of harmony to free her sister, then she most certainly would have. So, if all she could do in order to save the kingdom was to banish her sister, then I do believe that she made the right choice. But for 1,000 years?
Again, I believe that's still a long amount of time, even considering the sisters' lifespans. But I think as an audience, we have to accept that the 1,000-year banishment was Celestia's only choice in saving the world.
Of course!
If not, I'm sure Celestia would have explored every possible option in shortening the sentence. That would make it for a great story, showing the trials that Celestia went through to maybe get Luna back a little sooner.
I can certainly agree with that. I would love to see an in-depth tale about Luna's descent into her madness, and the choices that Celestia had to make in regards to her sister. But I am still rather curious about the prophecy that declares Nightmare Moon's escape after 1,000 years of imprisonment. Who wrote that prophecy? How would they have known about when Nightmare Moon would escape? Did Celestia have anything to do with creating that prophecy? Or perhaps there was some other unknown being at work here?
I want to know these things! That's what really bugs me about the prophecy. How we got 2 minutes of Luna's downfall, but so many questions to go along with it. One of these days, writers, I want to see that. Well, I think that's it.
This has been very insightful. Even though we may have come up with many more questions than answers, I think it's rather fun to be getting into these kinds of discussions. Thank you kindly for dropping by, Kim.
No problem. Thanks so much for having me. It was fun.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Leave comments and thoughts below. We're interested to see what you guys think of our thoughts.
And theories. Until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.